Hopefully we're going to have a good night tonight. It is hot as Hades here, and well, my computer's doing a whole lot of stuff, and they made me change encoders, and I'm not sure. YouTube changed some things, so I wasn't prepared for that. It's not like we get a notice, which we should. I mean, I guess we should fix the camera. Uh, Tonight is, well, hello, hello, hello. How are you doing? Glad to see somebody here. I know the thing's working a little bit. If you have any problems hearing me or seeing me or anything, let me know. YouTube's doing some weird stuff. It seems anytime I try to do something new, YouTube does some weird things, and I don't know. Plus, it's hot as Hades, and my computer, it's running like super hot for some reason, and hopefully we won't have drop. Plus, I have a whole lot of downloads going on. I want to get. I got to like redo my audio board, and I got to redo my set up my capture stuff, cards and stuff, so I can kind of like offset the heat from my computer over to a capture box and things, and I don't know. So I'm like right in the middle of it, but yeah. So but yeah. Anyway, hopefully it will run smoothly tonight, but it never does. It doesn't seem like. Now I want to start. Well, of course my files are not working correctly. Nothing's working fine here. I was looking for my show notes, and I'm trying to figure out where they are. And yeah, nothing's working. Let me try reloading that. Wow. It's going to be one of them nights, y'all, I think. Hey, man, I don't know. I'm having computer problems. Yeah, I don't know. I don't get what's going on here. Like a whole series of probably where I'm downloading a bunch of stuff. All right. Everything was set up. Everything was fine. Now it's acting bizarre. That one don't open. Wait a minute. All right. Well, I think it went sideways on me. Yeah, that's not the files I wanted. Well, let me see if I can find them real quick. All right, guys, I'm working on it. I'm looking for the files. I have a backup of them here. Like I said, it's hot as Hades here. Computer's doing a bunch of stuff. No, not tonight. We're not looking for the Mothman. I guess why this is doing this, I can kind of tell you what's going on. Uh, well, like for years. Okay, usually when somebody calls me and they want me to come out and see something, or they want me to come out and look at something, they say, "Hey, Denny, something weird happened over here. Come over here." or something weird happened, come over here. And so back when I was younger, I mean, just like you guys, I watched the X-Files. And, well, I mean, you know, it kind of stuck with me. And I would kind of go and do these little investigation type things and, you know, this whatever. Anyway, I amassed a whole lot of notebooks on the subject. They were earlier parts of my story writing. And I kind of like kept doing it as I traveled around. But I have a whole lot from the Appalachians. An insane amount. These are bits and pieces of stories that felt really weird to me. You know, like when you go into a house or you find something or you read something or anyway, you know, like it seems normal on the surface, but there was something extremely weird about it. And well, this is 3 stories from different times in my life that I had either found something or was told about something or, you know, given some things. But these are also legitimate police investigations that are going on. Well, at least I think they are. As far as I know, everything here is unsolved. You know, that's kind of reason why I'm calling it the X-Files, because there's no one is. God, that computer's running hard for some reason. Yeah, I guess it's working. I don't know. I mean, I just think it's where it's hot. Maybe I need to like re-grease the GPUs or something. I don't know, but this is almost done. Where it's, I got it set up for, it's pulling all the files. Like I said, I had the show word out, I had everything, and I gotta go back and rebuild it and bring it out. And well, you know, hopefully it won't be missing anything. But tonight we're going to cover a lady I found out about. She was from, well, she started out of Roanoke, but she another situation. Anyway, she was one of them individuals that an estate would call when someone died, and they would have to come in and do inventory. Now, a lot of us don't think of the stuff that happens after we die. If you have an estate, if you have any kind of money about you, if you have collections or book collections or something like that, the family will call in we have the GTA concept before GTA 6. We do have the GTA concept before GTA 6. How do you feel about the GTA stuff? I mean, now, I don't know if you caught that other thing that I was doing, but I am planning on doing I think it's 4 months when it comes out. That's one of the reasons why my computer is all crazy right now, because I'm trying to set up the capture card and capture set, because the first capture is going to be for like 24 hours. And you have to wire it in through an Xbox. I mean, you have to wire an Xbox, because you can't play GTA on computer right now for some reason. They're worried about hackers taking and porting it over and making it free. Yeah, I think it did the way it's supposed to. Maybe, probably not. Yeah. Okay. Our files are back. Yay. Yay. You know, shit happens, I guess. But I don't know. There's a whole lot of bitching and fussing about GTA. People are fussing about the CD in the box. I mean, not the CD in the box, but the company selling the box. And well, that would be the second one. I mean, I honestly, I mean, I think you should play the first one before you play the multiplayer. But I mean, you probably, I mean, they're going to be sold as separate games. You're going to have like, okay, you're going to have the GTA, the one you got to download, and then you can either pay $80 or $100. You pay $100 and you get all the unlocks. And then in December, we can get the PC version. No, we can get the disc version. I'm not sure if we'll get the PC version in December, but on the PC version, we should have a multiplayer. But I don't know. I mean, like I said, I will probably turn it on and yeah, YouTube sucks sometimes. It might be me too. I got a system that's going crazy. But sorry guys, I'm answering chat. But the mess with GTA is bonkers. Like, stores don't want to carry it because the actual box, when they do sell it, it's just going to have like a little number in there, you know, the download code. People are buying up downloads thinking they can flip them and scalp them, which is the stupidest shit I've ever seen. I don't know. I guess that's what we expect when a new game drops, you know. Yeah, I don't know, but I don't know. I plan on playing it. I plan on playing it all the way through. I'm gonna do the first 24-hour run when it drops. I'm gonna do a cancer sponsorship type thing, or whatever you call it. Got some other people that's gonna try to do it alongside me. So I don't know. Just I used to do this thing for a buddy, and he asked me to play through GTA 5 all the way through, and I did. Well, I'll try to, and enough for his enjoyment, that is. But he passed away, so I want to kind of do it in honor for him. Yeah. Like I said, we'll do a 24-hour. It's gonna be raw, dude. And you'll probably hear me cussing and crying and all kinds of shit. We're gonna get all the unpacks and everything, and see what everybody's been bitching about, you know. And you have to have a pretty good system to run the damn thing. Like, that's the other thing too. You know, there's got a lot of people that has a new PlayStation, and there for a minute GTA or PlayStation posted that GTA will run the best on PlayStation. Well, like right after that, they took it down and then they changed it and put it back up again. But Xbox also, and I mean, I will be playing it on the Xbox. I'm not gonna play it on a fucking PlayStation. I don't give a shit. You know, well, I'll have access to both, but I'm going to choose to play it on a freaking Xbox. And the reason I'm going to choose to play it on Xbox, the one of the new ones, is because Xbox lets us do interlacing, and you know, I am doing a 24-hour run, and I can port that thing from the cloud if I want to. So, I mean, dude, I might be in a fucking car playing this thing. I mean, that's what I'm saying. I'm gonna go 24 hours or longer and speed through with Red Bull and whatever I can, and we're gonna keep the system hot and see what kind of mayhem we can cause, because I'm told now. I got this buddy. I don't know if I should say this or not, but I got this buddy. He is now, one of the other things that I do sometimes is I do write some programs, and I have been working on a game that I've not been finished. And I have a dev license with Xbox. If you're making a game and you plan on porting it over to Xbox, you got to have a dev license. I don't have a stream license, but I do have a stream account, but I don't have a stream. But I don't have a stream dev. But I do have an Xbox dev, and the Xbox dev lets you talk to a wider group or community or whatever, and anyway, there's been a lot of talk and chatter about GTA, and a lot of chatter that I haven't seen outside. And well, there's going to be some very cool mechanics within GTA. Like, sure, admittedly, everyone in the world say, we're saying AI is bad until GTA drops, because the majority of GTA is freaking AI run. Like, your encounters with people in the street, like, used to, you can run them over and kick them out of a car or shoot them or whatever, and and come back and they wouldn't remember you. But now when you come back, they remember you. They make fucking social media posts about you, and you get like on a warrant list and stuff, and it's kind of wild. I mean, it's a very interactive game, immersive game. I want to say the other games have tried to do it, but they done it with old technology, so it's kind of like you were looking back in time when you were doing it. But and I think Cyberpunk had the phone where you could pull out, and what was the other game that you had a phone that you can pull out? Watch Dogs, I think it was, and there was another one before that. But anyway, this ain't like that. This is like, like we are now. I can go to a computer in GTA and sit down, and it will open a screen like we're looking at right now, like you're looking at me right now. And yeah, and like every interaction is different. Like, the shit you watch that I do will not be the same, or it will not be exactly the same as the shit you watch somebody else do, or the shit you do yourself. It is wild the way the system's put up, and the amount of patents they have put out for this game is remarkable. They even studied water physics. I mean, you hear a bunch of us nut jobs talk about, oh, okay, cool, there's First Light. It's finally finished, but you have people who are talking real bad about this game, and it is the next standard of it's going to rewrite how games are made now. It literally is. Like, anyone that's working on games, anyone that's putting games together, anyone who's doing the things that like, us people like me, and like, just guys in their house and stuff, and we're making like block games and shit. I mean, it's nothing compared to what GTA is going to be able to pull off. The only thing that, if you're going to do that in a supportive market, at least the other game, Unreal Engine, the new one, they're allowing it to be free used now. So they don't even know what all you can do with it. I mean, it's a fucking insane piece of software. The game mechanics that you can do within the new Unreal is just bizarre. And I mean, you can add in AI, and you can do all that stuff. But AI is becoming an intricate part in the game network. And like I said, people's bitching about not having a hard copy. And the reality of the matter is, you're going to get that when you do get a hard copy in December, when you put it in your computer, it's just going to open up a launcher, and the launcher is just going to take you to the download site. Fuck, they did that with Call of Duty. I don't know. People going nuts about GTA, and I've been trying to stay away from it, but it's been hard for me. I've been on there trolling people. And I'm sure most of the people that are actually out there doing this stuff don't even play the games themselves. They don't find some kind of enjoyment out of it. They don't mess with it. And I mean, those are the people who should be, the ones that are voicing their opinions, instead of looking at 2-second trailers and trying to take apart things that they haven't even been to yet. Like, they were talking about the Ferris wheel not having a reflection. They were talking about a light up on the pole. No, there's supposed to be a pole there. and how many teeth the alligator has in the picture. I don't know. I don't know. But anyway, well, like I said, these are stories. I don't remember how long ago. That's been a long time ago. But I mean, that's what I'm saying. I don't remember how long ago. And there'll be some talking through it. I mean, I wasn't sure how to set these up and how these are pieced together. Most of these individuals wrote these out in a notebook, and I read over, and then I pulled what was great and good and over, and if there was a recording, then I would transcribe what was off the recording, and I would, then give the rest of it to the police. Because most of these, there weren't people that were behind. And I used to have a friend that was on the police department, and he would always say, that, would tell me about the weird stuff they would get a hold of. And like I said, Appalachia's full of weird shit. It is. But yeah, there's a room where you'll be able to write code and submit it to make changes. You should be able to do that. You should be able to, well, not really make code, but make, there should be a workshop like there was in Fallout. Where you could go over and where you can make a mod and install the mod. Now they have removed some mod capabilities in the new GTA, but it's something that to look at. I mean, I don't think they're going to make it wide open, especially on Xbox, because one, adding code from a user standpoint is extremely freaking hard. And, like Microsoft or Sony has to verify it before they can allow it to be installed. Now they can have a mod room, but the mod room they tried for, was it Fallout, I think, didn't work exactly as it was supposed to. It was glitchy as hell. I mean, that's my only concern when it comes to GTA. That, I know it's been forever, and I know they've been working on it forever, and they probably had the base idea and concept, and they already had everything worked out, and then they started adding all the other features and things. But I wonder if the actual systems are going to run or align together the way they're supposed to. I mean, that's what's going to be the funny stuff that we encounter, and that's one of the reasons why I want to play the game, especially first time before they can get in there and fix anything, because I know from what I've been told, and I know from what I have seen online, the actual trailers and stuff, that we will probably be able to pull off some extremely weird stuff. Like, for example, they're going to have protesters. Now, you hypothetically, technically could run down a whole bunch of protesters or do other stuff. And I mean, there is some wild possibilities that are not blocked right now in the system. And that is one of the things that amazes me. Also, there is a possible, how do you say this? I'm told now there's a nudity thing with GTA. Now, the last time there was actual nudity in GTA was one of the original ones. There was a stripper thing, and then there was a streetwalker and stuff like that. But they took all that out because there was such an outcry about it. But now, where things have changed and where you can do settings and do verifications and stuff like that, I'm told that there is some adult stuff within the game. So, you know, they know what they're doing. They're setting up GTA to be talked about for a long fucking time. You know, and the more people who talk about it, the more people who want to buy it, the more people who want to play it. And that is kind of like on like the hidden, you know, conspiracy of it all when you talk about those games. They, you know, you have the one they make for the people and the fans and everything else, and then you draw in a whole nother fan base because, you know, now the system is broken in places, and then you have capabilities to add those in and so forth like that. And you know, I expect there to be parents telling their kids not to play this game. You know, this is GTA after all, and if you remember back, like when the last GTA, like when it come out, man, I had friends that were like sticking home. They left work. There was two people I know that actually quit work, and I'm like, what's going on? He's like, fuck, dude, I'm staying home and play GTA, and that's what he did. He stayed home and played GTA. He said, hell with it. That's all he's going to do. He's been waiting to do that. And there's going to be people like that. There's going to be people that just friggin' take off, go on vacation to play GTA, man. And, you know, when that game comes out, you know, that shit's not going to run right forever. You know, I mean, you know, you have a game there that will give you entertainment for 5,500 hours. Oh, I know. Well, this energy, well, one, you know, the energy from me, from apparently, I mean, I wasn't ready to play off any of this stuff. Um, like I said, my setup's been broke. I mean, to like do game streaming and stuff like that, my setup's been broke. I mean, I can play here. Um, and like some of the people that I used to play with, they're gone, man. You know, like I actually played Mecha Chameleon today. It's kind of fun. It is. I mean, it's kind of fun. You know, it's like you're a little dude. You run around, you paint yourself, you kind of blend in. People's got to find you and shoot you. You know, classic video game. But yeah, you know, like I said, you know, the reason why us old guys are becoming streamers and are video game streamers and to do what we do anyway is because the people that we used to do stuff with like this are not here anymore. You know, that is the thing. Like the like my age, you know, a lot of our friends are gone. You know, that we grew up with or that we, you know, met online and we played games with and stuff like that. Shit's happened. A lot of bad stuff has happened. And I mean, I've only uploaded like one game to this channel in the past 1 year or 2 years. I mean, I uploaded a clip from Rust. I just had downloaded it and I started playing it. But I mean, I don't know. The people you play with make part of the game, you know. So I tried to do it. I've been on YouTube for 20 years. Yeah, me too. Me too. I was one of the ones with the first YouTubers. This channel itself right here has been out since shit. It's either 10 years or 15 years. I don't know if I'm getting my channel confused, but this one has, I know this one is the one that, Man, I can definitely use them. I mean, I'm serious. Well, not use them. I mean, I can. I would like some people that would help. Mother Horse Eyes, awesome, awesome. You know, I'm actually trying to make a fucking game on that. You heard that here first. I want to make a game based on that story, and like the CERN stuff. I don't know. I've had so many up and downs. There's supposed to be 3 movies. No, 4 movies. 4 movies. Well, those are like little short things. But anyway, there's supposed to be 4 movies. The 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 CERN story. That was supposed to like be a live, not a live action, but it was supposed to be you know a real movie, and then it was supposed to kind of like merge into like a clip animated type thing. But all right, I will. And I was trying to um, get that out there. Okay, I'll look into it. I'll try to. I mean, throw it. I mean, if I don't remember, throw it at me. Um, I mean, if you guys see him or talk to him or whatever online, tell him I'm desperate. Looking Twitch is hard. It is. Didn't used to be. Twitch is hard. Like, if you're going to make it on Twitch, now, like, the whole thing with Twitch is I could go to Twitch and I could run Twitch, and Twitch will fund, literally, Twitch. If I get like 200 people on Twitch, Twitch will fund the running of this channel and my other channels. If I get 200, hell, it will even start funding some of the movies. Um, that's kind of what I've been after. I've been trying to get some of these other projects finished before I die. So, yeah, I don't know. There's a comic that's supposed to be coming. See, this is stuff I didn't even think about telling everybody. There's a comic that's supposed to be coming. Um, I think there's a book of poems, and then there's a story set. Yeah. I mean, like I said, we had one, and then we turned it off, and then I started like Twitch changed some stuff. So yeah, I gotta get back on Twitch. I mean, I'm streaming there now. I mean, I've been streaming there a while. I mean, I got a few people over there, but it's just I need to get it locked in. Plus, now you got to stream on Twitch for 4 hours before you can actually really monetize anything. Uh, I don't know. Believe it or not, the most talked about topic over there, or the most talked about game, isn't a game. It's something called just chatting, and that's just dudes on there and women on there talking and bullshitting and you know trying to you know cop subscribers. Uh, yeah. But I think we will. Is it dark enough for the story yet? No, it's not dark enough yet. I mean, this first story kind of sets you over the edge a little bit, and I want to make sure we're ready for it because we only been at this 34 minutes. I don't usually start to stream an hour in. I will need a cigarette break before I start doing the other stuff, but I'm hoping it cools down. Like I said, it's hot as hell here. I'm not. It's probably not helping. I'm drinking coffee. But this is chilled out. It's kind of cold. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. We'll start. Anyway, like I said, I called this thing the X-Files Appalachian Edition. And my subscribers keep going up. I mean, my viewers keep going up and down. I don't know. Hopefully the system's working. Anyway, if you're here new, say hi, everything, all that good stuff. Yes, don't whistle in the woods of dark. Don't answer people talking to you either. Who is my... Okay, what is my favorite Stephen King book? Desperation. That is my second favorite is one that a lot of people don't like, and that's Tommy Knockers. And then I like the one where he goes back to do the whole JFK biz. Yeah. I mean, I love Stephen King. I actually have a Stephen King fan club over. I have a Stephen King fan club over on Facebook. You know, if you want to go there, just look for my name. Yeah. Yep. 11 2. Yep. That's it. Now the other one is Under the Dome. Man, I really got into Under the Dome. Under the Dome, like really took me there. Let's see. I'm trying to remember. Man, I got them all. I do. I got Elevation. I got every Stephen King book. I've been a hardcore collector for a very long time. You know, I got books people don't normally have. I got versions of the books. I got first editions. I got a couple of signed copies. I got these cool red leather bound books I got from this rebinder. Maybe I'll show them the stream one day or something. But I got them from Bag of Bones was good. I think one Bag of Bones is one of the rebinded books. I got two rebinded books in there, and they did this great job on it. And you can almost call them Stephen King red editions. And I know a lot of my viewers don't know what that is, but there was a certain time when Stephen King was releasing books. He released a set of all of his stuff, and they were red edition. Oh, now I'm a big fan of Dark Tower. I am. I have some stories like Dark Tower. I have some like I took a lot of inspiration, like Mother Horse Have Eyes and everything. I mean, you can see fucking Dark Tower influence in there. A lot of the older stories that are like tucked in there, you can see a lot of Dark Tower influence. I mean, like I was reading Dark Tower and then I was writing. So I mean, you know, I was being seduced and influenced by his work as I was working on some of that stuff. You know, the drugged mind interprets stuff a little different sometimes, especially when you write. It's a good thing I don't drink anymore. Well, I might at some point. I don't know. What if I told you he's real? No, what if I told you the scientist and the CERN story is real? Would you believe me? Might take a minute to hear that. I'm serious. Now, I'm not saying my stories are all my stories are fiction, guys. If you listen to my stories and you hear them and now, like I said, if you listen to my stories, like I said, like the ones that I'm thinking about doing tonight, they're real stories. I got a whole series of these. I got like 80 notebooks of shit that I wrote down when I made these things. You know, this is real life investigations. I went out and I met people. I spoke to people. There's an old saying that the best stories come from people who sound like fiction. And you know, there's a lot of people that wanted to put their story out there. You know, that wanted it in like a fictional type of sense, the conversation. But I can tell you that millions upon millions of people have called the CERN office in Switzerland and asked for Dr. Mantell. I know this because Switzerland tried to have me expedited and arrested for writing that story. They didn't succeed because, I mean, they didn't have a case, but they tried. They literally tried to expedite me and arrest me for writing that story. You know, and one of my arguments was, you know, because of me, you had your website clicked on millions upon millions of times. You know, I can't help what people tell me. But yeah. Now, but if you go back and you listen to the stories, the CERN stories, and you go and you listen to each segment, you will see after each segment, take out key parts of the story and go and Google it. And you see if I was lying about that. You know, see if I added that in. You know, or made it up, because I didn't. Yep, Mecha Chameleon is fucking crazy. People are working on it. They're even 3D printing them little dudes. Shit, I can't. They look like a little guy, and they're painting them and they're putting them all over places in real world, and it's stupid. My kid likes it. You know, it's a fun little game. And it's a good learning game too. Of course, I mean, you could carry a gun around and shoot things, but I mean, it is a good like painting skill set. Like, you know, you have different like models of you know, like from famous games and pictures and cartoons and whatever, and you can go in there and hide, and then you gotta hunt somebody, and it is hard. And you can whistle at people, and you can taunt them, and yeah, it's an insane game. And if I can stop answering comments, I can get through the story, or one of them at least. I keep trying, and I keep my mind keeps wandering, and I get distracted by everything that's going on up here. I know as soon as I start, everything will crash. Like I said, it's bloody hot in here. I mean, it is. I'm sweating. I mean, I got it. Of course, like I said, my computer's blowing out a lot of heat. There's two GPUs and 32 cores down here, so 36 cores. And I think I better run to the bathroom and go smoke. Almost. I'm gonna go smoke and run to the bathroom. So give me 2 minutes, maybe 3 minutes. And I will be back, and we will get started on this. and we can talk some more. There'll be there's 3 stories and there's plenty of breaks, but we can talk about anything you guys want to talk about. I promise. Um, tonight I actually figured I'd just drop in and do the stories. I didn't think I'd talk for 45 minutes. No, no, you're fine. You're fine. You're fine. You're fine. You're fine. You're fine. I was thinking about combining the story streams. The No, you're fine. I was gonna combine the story streams. Um, like I want to do. I got some weird ideas when it comes to you know. Thank you, thank you. You're an amazing person, and you're amazing for saying that. And you guys are actually making me feel good tonight. You are. I mean, you really are. I mean, I was down. I was moping around earlier today, and I thought, okay, I'm just gonna quit. I am. I was thinking, I'm just gonna quit. I mean, that was actually running through my head today. I mean, I had some. I don't know. I mean, I actually thought about it. I thought about, okay, I'm just go ahead and just quit making videos and um, stop doing the stories and stop doing everything because it does seem like everything's getting harder. It does a lot harder, but they do keep me busy and preoccupied and keep my mind out of the rudder. But I'm gonna run to the bathroom. I might be a spitter though. Yeah, I might be a spitter, as they say. Anyway, I'm gonna go smoke and. I know, I know. No, I'm gonna still stream. I am. I am gonna still stream. I gotta kind of the stream is where it's at, kind of. You got to keep the lights on. You got to kind of like fix the boundaries and whatever, and you kind of got to figure it all out. But I got to go to the bathroom. So guys, let me run the bathroom. Um, I'll be right back. I promise. Talk amongst yourself, say stuff, and I will talk here in just a second. But I got to run to the bathroom and smoke, and then I'm gonna start the story, or we might talk more, or whatever. But I'll be right back. All right, I'm back. I'm back. I am back. Oh, let it loose happy out. Ow. All right, I'm back. Let me find my controller. There it is. All right. Yay. Yeah, short interlude. Yeah, I don't smoke in my room, so yeah. There could be one. There's actually one. There is. I have one wrote out. There's like a whole series of stories. Like when I was talking about coming back and everything, I posted like some like earlier art for a bunch of the Mantel files, and Jesus, I got too many stories I need to deal with. I do. I got like there's this place is there's notebooks and there's hard drives full of stuff, and I mean my grandma didn't have to go through this crap. Like, all right, she was a writer, she was, and I mean there's other writers that don't have to go through this. They don't. I guess they're not as they're more organized than I am. I admit that I'm the most disorganized person there is. I mean, if you my writing and collection style and yeah, well, no, she put it. She did mixes and stuff. You know, yeah. There's she did books. She did. She did magazines mostly. Alfred Hitchcock. A few other things. She got me like one of my first gigs for what was it? Was it Good Housekeeping? Or no, Good Housekeeping was one of them. What do you call that? Jesus Christ, it's still out. It's a little Reader's Digest. Yes, that's it. Reader's Digest. Like the dude for Reader's Digest sent me out to California to do a story on like wine tasting. And when I got out there, I went to a place called the Orchard. And well, man, that's a fucked up place, dude. I mean, I got there. I did a story on it. There, it's on the back of the channel. I think it's there. Yeah, I know it is. I remember writing it. Um, but I got out there and I was like talking to this dude and doing the wine tasting and trying to put this story together that Reader's Digest wanted. And yeah, it's still going. Yeah, but I mean, I'm talking 35, 40 years ago. Well, 30, 35 years ago. Uh, but yeah, but it's still. I mean, it's like you could get. Yeah, I think you get like one copy every 6 months or something. I don't know. I don't remember. I'm sure there's a stack of them somewhere. Um, but yeah, like they sent me out there to go look at this thing and do this wine tasting thing for wine tasting country in California. And I got out there and it turned into one of those weird stories. And there was like a lot of missing people in the town. It was the first time I ever heard that. I heard a lot after I did, but there are towns out there in the United States, well, across the world. I'm not going to say. I mean, I say the United States because this is the majority of my interaction. Um, yeah, I go out and I do something, and you're like, it's easy. It was easier for me to travel with the United States than it was to like the UK or Canada or stuff like that. I did travel through Canada some, but you know, or Mexico. There's a lot of weird shit that happened out in Mexico, but I never got to go see it. I wish I could have. I don't like traveling now. Absolutely not. But uh, Jesus Christ, if you just take the United States alone, and you know if it's happening in the United States, it's happening in other places. You know, there's like I said, there's a lot of weird stuff, and it seems like everybody has a weird story. They just don't know about it. And you know, I started hearing about these towns that was taking people and like sacrificing them for the good of the town. and you know that's what they were doing at this place called the Orchard. Um, and that they were bottling fucking wine, man, and selling it on the market, and it's some wild shit. and as soon as I sent the story into the guy, the first story, the first, like, it wasn't the one I loaded on YouTube, but it was the first story that I wrote. And I was like, dude, there's all this going on out here. I said, this is fucking, he fired me on the spot. He did. And like, I swear to God, dude, there's some weird shit going on out here. Weird stuff going on out here. And he's like, I mean, he fired me on the spot. He didn't believe me. I mean, he didn't. And I mean, I kept sending him shit. I was out there. I mean, I'd be damned if I was going to pay for my bus ride home. You know, they paid for my bus ride out there to go look at this thing and go talk to these people. By George, they were going to pay for my bus ride back. And finally, he believed me. And I think they ran an article, but they edited some of the stuff. And I'm not sure what else happened out there. I never kept up with it. But yeah, that's a fucked up place. I mean, at night, and I was up there for almost a month. At night, when you go out there, I don't know if have you ever been to an orchard? Like peach orchard, tree orchard, grape orchard, you know, vine orchard, stuff like that. Well, at night, these places look freaking creepy, and they look extremely creepy in fucking California. I don't know. But there's some weird shit that goes on. There is. You know, they say that the United States is the melting pot. You know, my old lady was telling me that, and hard for me to wrap around still. Chip hacker. And he called me. I'm live streaming. I'll text you. All right. Sorry, I had to call. Again, I thought I hung up on him, but tonight's crash out, I think. See, where was I? See, I was talking about that. But anyway, I was getting on the story. But anyway, like I said, that story is back there about, I think it's called The Orchard, actually. If I'm not mistaken. It might be. There are like 2 parts of it. 3 parts of it. Might be 3 parts of it. I'm not sure. It would make a good movie. It would definitely make a good movie. Yeah, story time, maybe. If I can get through it. Leave me alone. All right. So, the lady in question, she is a forensic accountant. And for the sole purpose, she is basically the narrator for this. So, as I said, most of the stuff that was written down here was transcribed from me from her notebook to mine. So, let's leave that out there. Her name is Eleanor Marsh, and she is from Virginia. Okay, this is how she starts off. She says, the estate of Gerald Poole, deceased, consistent of 1 parcel of land, 4.2 acres in Mercer County, West Virginia. She had to travel from Virginia to West Virginia, I think it was, if I remember the story correctly. And like I said, she is a forensic accountant. I explained that earlier, but for anybody that may have missed it, a forensic accountant is somebody that is paid for by the state to come in and itemize a person's belongings after they pass away. Um, to be sold or whatever. But anyway, she went up there. There was one structure, one outbuilding, and the contents. She was hired by the county's to assist and catalog the contents for probate. She had done this work for 19 years, and she was good at it. She was methodical. And she really wants us to in her book, she says that she wanted to state this clearly. She is methodical. There are some individuals that take their job very serious, and they're very anal about it. If you can tell by my work ethic, I don't think I'm one of them. But, and she goes on to say, she says, and she writes in her journal, she says, I arrived on a Tuesday in October. The key had been left under a ceramic frog by the front step, per the county's instructions. The house smelled like old paper, something herbal I couldn't identify, not unpleasant. There was no central heat. I had been told to expect that. I set my bag down in the front room and did what I always do first. I made a list. The house had 7 rooms: a living room, kitchen, 2 bedrooms, a bathroom, a study, and a room at the end upstairs hall with no clear purpose. No bed, no desk, just shelving, floor to ceiling, all 4 walls. Every shelf was full. Not books, notebooks, composite notebooks. I think I've shown a few online before. You know the notebooks. The ones your kids use are the ones that you buy that are cheap at Walmart or whatever package store is around you. They have the black and white print on the front cover, and they say composite. I have some extremely old ones that, believe it or not, they actually changed in design. There's some interesting lore behind that. The standard black and white kind, the kind you can buy 12 or for $3 at any drugstore. Drugstores up there, Walmart down here. Each one labeled on the spine with a tight, careful hand. Dates range. The earliest I could find dated to 1981. The most recent ended approximately 6 weeks before he died. 43 years of notebooks. Her job was not to read them. Her job was to count them, assign them a category as personal papers, and note their volume for the estate's inventory. A personal journal collector is an asset of not much monetary value unless the subject is notable, which Gerald Poole was not. I'm not sure what they will do with all my notebooks one day. But at least they didn't burn them, I guess you could say. A lot of places would just toss that stuff out. Things have changed, though. She counted them. 312 notebooks. She assigned a category. She moved on. The kitchen contents was straightforward. The outbuilding contained tools, hand tools, no power equipment, all in good condition. The study had a desk, a filing cabinet, a wall of reference books, almanacs, encyclopedias, county histories, agriculture guides, and nothing unusual. I worked through Wednesday. On Thursday morning, I went back to the shelf room. I don't have a clear explanation for why. I have thought about this carefully. The professional reason would be I wanted to verify the date ranges I had noted to make the inventory more precise. The more professional reason. The honest reason is that the room made me uncomfortable, and I had spent my career learning that when something makes me uncomfortable and in a state, you should look at it more closely, not less. That's something we all should learn. I pulled the first notebook from 1981. Jared Pohl had not kept a journal. He had kept an inventory, or inventories. Each page lists household items, by room, by date, what he owned, what condition it was in, any changes since the last entry. He updated each room's inventory approximately once a month. If he acquired something, he logged it. If something was broke or was discarded, he noted that too. It was, and I will admit, very impressive record keeping. I pulled a notebook, another notebook, same format, another, same. 312 notebooks. 43 years. Jared Pohl has spent 4 decades inventorying his life with thoroughness of a man who believed that if something was not documented, it didn't fully exist. That's our first clue. She went on to say, I understood my impulse completely. I pulled the notebooks back. I finished my work for the day. I ate a sandwich I had brought from town. I slept in the smaller of the 2 bedrooms, which the county said she could. She says, I did not dream, or if I did, I don't remember. Friday morning, I had 2 rooms left to finish. The outbuildings inventory to finalize. I planned to be on the road this afternoon. I was in the kitchen finishing the appliance log when I noticed a notebook on the corner that I hadn't cataloged. It had fallen behind the refrigerator. I could see the spine from where I was standing. I pulled it out. It was thinner than the others. Maybe 20 pages filled. The date on the spine was not arranged. It was a single month, October, no year. I opened it. It was not a household inventory. Now, she is going to read what she saw in that notebook. Or she's going to, anyway, you get what I'm saying. She says, I am going to read what was in that notebook. I am going to read it the same way I read everything, straight through. No editorializing. October 3rd, woman, 5'6", approximately dark hair, worn black practical clothing, no jewelry visible, drives a gray sedan, late model. One small dent above the rear left wheel. Arrived 9 a.m., parked on the gravel, used the key under the frog. Still coming. She thought to herself, I drive a gray sedan. There's a dent above the rear left wheel. I got it in a parking garage in Charleston 3 years ago. I arrived at 9 a.m. on Tuesday. I used the key under the frog. She kept reading. I don't know about you, but I think that would be the indication for me to leave. October 3rd, continued. Moved through the house without touching anything. She wasn't required to. Stood in the shelf room for approximately 4 minutes. Didn't pull any notebooks. Left the room. She will come back. Still coming. October 4th. She stayed. Second bedroom, as expected. Lights out by 10. She does not leave food out. She checks the locks. She is careful. Still coming. October 7th. She found the notebook this morning. I have been watching her face. She does not show much. That is how she survives. It's also how she got lost. Still coming. The notebook ends there, October 7th. Today is October 7th. I want to be precise about what I did because precision matters to me and I will not let go of it. I did not panic. I set the notebook on the kitchen table. I walked to the front window. I looked out at the driveway. My car was there. The road was visible. The road was empty. I walked back to the table. I picked the notebook up again. I turned back to the first entry and read it again, October 3rd. I had arrived on Tuesday. I looked at my phone. Tuesday had been October 3rd. Gerald Poole had been dead for 6 weeks. The executor of his will, his office, had confirmed his date. She had the paperwork. She had the death certificate. Gerald Poole had been dead for 6 weeks. But somehow, this notebook she found behind the refrigerator described her arrival. She went back to the shelf room. She told herself she was being methodical. I told myself was an explanation. I was going to find it because that is what I do. I find where the numbers went. I pulled the notebooks out at random. Not the early ones, the recent ones, the last 5 years. Household inventories were there, room by room, month by month. Gerald Poole accounting for his own belongings, meticulous to the end. Being tucked between the inventory months, not every notebook, but several were pages like the ones in the kitchen notebook. Different paper, slightly different pen, but the same handwriting. I started pulling them out. The earliest one I found was dated 11 years ago, November. Woman, dark hair, practical. She carries a brown leather notebook with a broken clasp. She tilts her head to the left when she's reading something that troubles her. She doesn't. No, she doesn't. Still coming. My leather notebook brown, the clasp broken 2 years ago. She's been meaning to replace it, but I haven't. She puts her hand on her head. She realizes she's been tilting it to the left, reading, just like the book said. Six years ago in March, she lost someone this year. She is thinner. She works more. Her cheeks, her phone less. She's getting closer to understanding that the work is a way of not having to understand anything else. She is not there yet, still coming. She says, my mother died 6 years ago this March. I don't talk about it. I don't talk about it to anyone. 3 years ago, August. She has started leaving her wedding band at home. Not because the marriage is over, but because she is afraid of losing it. She is afraid of losing things now. She checks the clasp on the notebook every time she picks it up. Still coming, the notebook says. She looks at her left hand. No ring. She sits on the floor for a while. I don't know how long. Long enough that the light changes. Then she gets up because Eleanor Marsh doesn't sit on floors. She pulled every notebook that had these pages in it, laid them out in an order on the study floor, 11 pages, 11 years. Each one ended the same way, still coming. She looks at the last one again, October 7th. She found a notebook this morning. I have been watching her face. She does not show much. This is how she survives. It is also how she got lost, still coming. I have been watching her face. She writes, I stood very still. The house is old. Old houses make sounds. I've been here for 5 days, and I have been cataloging the sound of this house the same way I catalog everything else, automatically, without thinking about it. The creak on the third stairs, the rattle of the kitchen window, the settling of the back wall in the early morning. I stood still and listened. The house was making a sound that I had not cataloged. A single slow creak, deliberate from above. The shelf room was above her. She had 19 years of experience walking into rooms I don't want to walk into. You learn in this work that the account always balances, that there's an explanation. Sometimes the explanation is fraud. Sometimes it is neglect or negligence. Sometimes it is grief. The way grief makes people do strange things with money and objects and records. There's always an explanation. She walks to the stairs, slow. She walks down the hall. The shelf room door is closed. She had left it open. Now I'm going to tell you what she did. She opened the door. The room was empty. The notebooks was where she had left them. The shelves were undisturbed. The one window, small facing the backfield, was latched from inside. The room was empty. On the floor in the center of the room was one notebook I had not seen earlier, thinner than the rest, maybe 10 pages. No dates on the spine, just the name, mine. She picked it up. She opened it. She read it. A long silence, 15 seconds. It says, the estate of Gerald Poole has been fully inventoried. All assets have been categorized, assessed, and assigned appropriate values for probate. My personal papers, 312 notebooks, plus one additional volume recovered from the kitchen and one additional volume recovered from the shelf room on the final day, have been logged as personal papers. No monetary value. My report will be filed Monday. I completed the work. I am methodical. I am still coming. Now, she's still alive. And I know some of that was hard to follow. I kept jumping around with it. But that was more or less what she went through in that house. We're on our second part of the break now, so our second break of the story. Anyway, that was the first one. Like I said, I know it was hard to follow. It was all over the place, and it was basically just her writing down her experience and everything. But it's not been on the internet before, if that helps. I thought it was weird. I do. I don't know how, I don't know why I thought it was weird, but I thought it was weird. I thought it was really weird. Her story was weird. I don't know what they did with his stuff, but as far as I know, they did something with it. I don't know what they did to the house either. Have you guys ever been to West Virginia? I stayed in a place called Hollywood, West Virginia. Once upon a time, way out in the woods. Now, when West Virginia gets dark, it really gets dark. And it's still hot as hell here. I'm going to have to run back to the bathroom again, guys. I'm sorry. We're at the minute 21 mark. Then we'll start on the next story. And yeah, the next one is called Hollow Sunday. a lot of people from around here don't know, but we call like parts of Virginia um, hollers. That's the word we use here. We use the word holler. Um, and it's not the kind like to holler, like to voice your, but a holler is like a valley in between a mountain, and each holler seems to be its own little world up here. Like you might go to one holler and you'll have a whole community of people living, or was at some point living there, and you go to another holler and they'll be different. Like I know you guys heard the stories like the Hatfield and the McCoys and stuff like that. Like they would fight across hollers. I mean that's the way shit's set up here. So like you have hollers, like you have we don't have like one open place where everybody gets along. You have like one group. In the cities, it's different, but out in the countries and stuff like that, you have hollers. Um, yeah, I like those arcs. I got some crazy stories from down in there too. Um, maybe I'll do an X Files for every state I've been to. I mean, 'cause I do have a lot of that stuff. Anyway, I'm gonna go smoke again. I'll be back. And go tell everybody I'm going to break and to cool off. Maybe get some ice. I'm burning up. Sorry, guys, I'm back. I had to go check on the kittens. We have a couple months ago, a mother kitten brought a bunch of cats up here, and well, we don't live on a busy road, but I'm kind of worried that they're, you know, that they will get run over or some shit. So, you know. Did you live in Ozarks? Like, did you live out there? Like, did you so you moved from the Ozarks to Washington State? You'll have to tell me that story one day. You can call in and tell me if you want to. Um, but yeah, man. Well, hey, dude, we'll get on. We'll talk about the fucking Ozarks one day. Uh, oh, you went to visit? Well, shit. We'll still talk about the Ozarks, and we can talk about that place that you're from up there. Um, uh, I got a whole lot to say about Washington. I do. I mean, I said I lived there for a while. I did. I mean, there's some crazy shit that happens up there too. Um, I got a bunch of stories from up there. I went up there to live on a boat for forever, and like I said, then I was in an RV. I lived up in the mountains and did some other stuff. I even got the Prospect Gold up there. Yeah, yeah, it's changed a lot. It has. I mean, if you can get by one thing, get to another thing, you know, just, it's. But yeah, I like those arcs. Those arcs was cool. And you know, I mean, I guess for what it was, Washington, Oregon, and California were okay, but they were weird still. Um, there's a lot we take for granted, and there's a lot we miss when we're out. You know, I think I got the benefit from like originally having like an open and then sheltered life, and then I was like in a hurry to get out, so I got out earlier and I done stuff, and I don't know. Now this story um, was taken both from a note journal that was found in a car, I think, and a recording cassette. You know, like one of those, if I remember correctly. I think so. But it was taken from one of the older ones. I have one here. I think I actually have it somewhere. I don't know. But anyway, it was taken by one of those recording things. Little small tapes, not the digital ones, but the small tapes. I think that's the ones they use for like ghost hunting and shit now, because they're like more effective or whatever. Actual ghost hunting is weird too. Uh, I don't know. Yeah, but yeah. But we're gonna talk about a guy named Marcus Cole. Now you can go look him up if you want to. Some of his stuff is still out there. He was a true crime podcaster. Now the women that you would hear in the audio, well, we're not playing audio tonight, but the women that I refer to, um, I don't really know their names, so I can't really give them any credit for what they were. They do say some other names through there. Um, it is very country, I guess you would say. But like I said, he was a true crime podcaster, and this is his word for word as I dictated it from. This is the official editorial register, basically. Um, that's what he said. He says, on September 14th of last year, a gray cargo van registered to one Marcus Cole of Roanoke, Virginia, was located by a Carroll County Sheriff's deputy in a community known locally as Gray's Hollow, or Holler, approximately 12 miles from the nearest state road. The van had been there for 14 months. It was unlocked. The keys were in the ignition. Marcus Cole's wallet, phone, and equipment were inside. The field recordings found on his recorder were intact, and this is what they contained. Now, this is about what where it stopped for me as I was putting the information in there. I do make some more notes down through here, but not many, because this story really talks for itself, I guess you would say. The meat and bones of it. This one deserved to be an X-File. I mean, I don't know about the other one, but this one definitely deserves to be an X-File. The first tape. Day one, drive-in, first contact. Okay. Rolling. September 14th. It's about 2 in the afternoon. I'm on, I think this is Route 620, but the GPS gave up 20 minutes ago. So now he goes on to say the background for his episode. I'm in Carroll County, Virginia, same county that I'm in now, by the way. Chasing a cold case that might not technically be a cold case because it was never a case at all. 1987, a woman named, I am going to call her Jane for now until I can confirm anything, listed in a single county health record as a resident of an unincorporated county or community, Gray's Hollow. And then never mentioned anywhere again. No deaths, no death record, no marriage record, no forwarding address, nothing. Just that one line. And then she stops existing. You got to be careful where you go. The health department had no follow-up when he asked them. The county had no record of the community past 1990. He went on to say he found it on a survey map. And I can show you on the survey map if you'd like to see it one day. He goes on to say he wants to see if it's still there and if anyone who lives there remembers her. He goes on to say, okay, it's yeah. There are houses here. I can see maybe 8, 10 structures. It's a real place. I thought it might not be. You can hear the shift of the engine, and it turns off, and the door opening, and you can hear the winds through the trees and maybe a creek nearby. The birds. You can always hear birds up here. And he goes, wow, okay, this is generally a beautiful place. I didn't expect that. A lot of people don't expect what they see when they come to Carroll County. It's a different little time. Things are slow here. They are really slow. Man, everyone keeps to themselves and nobody messes with each other. And the cities support the other part. And sometimes you see the weird people come into Walmart, like normal. There's a man coming out of the nearest house. He's waving, friendly. Okay, I'm going to make contact. Recording 2, day 1 evening. All right, day 1 debrief. I'm in. They gave me a room in what I think is the community's main house. Or the oldest one anyway, a big farmhouse belonging to a family named Caldwell originally. The man I met first is named Roy. 60s, gray beard, very direct eye contact, surprisingly funny. They fed me dinner. I am not going to describe the dinner in detail because I will embarrass myself. I will say it is the best meal I have eaten in recent memory, and I don't know what half of it was. We do eat some weird shit here. There are, let me think, maybe 15 people I met today, range of ages. They seem to know that I'm a podcaster. Roy said something like, we had a feeling somebody would come eventually, which is the thing people sometimes say when they've been found by media types before. You know, you kind of know. They're not surprised and they're not impressed. Nobody got weird when I asked about the 1987 case. Jane, the one I referred to earlier. Roy said he had to think about it, who might remember. I said I should stay a few days and meet more people, not rush it. I told him I had planned to do a quick drive-through and head back to Roanoke tonight. He nodded and said they'd have breakfast ready at 7. I'm staying, I guess. I mean, obviously I'm staying. This is a real place for real people and real potential sources here. Of course I'm staying. It's very quiet here. I keep almost hearing the creek. I think it's to the east. I might walk down to it in the morning. He signs off. Recording 3, day 4. He sounds confident and comfortable. He sounds settled. You know how when you've been on vacation for a while, you kind of have that relaxed feeling like, okay, everything's good. Everything feels good. And in his case, being a crime podcaster, true crime podcaster, you don't want to feel settled. You don't want to feel like, okay, you're suddenly in a comfortable place and the people that you're meeting are really friendly. And yeah, you know, no. Anyway, day 4. Talked to an older woman named Bess today. She has to be 80-something, sharpest person in the holler by a wide margin. She confirmed there was a woman here in 1987. Said her name was Marion. Said Marion had come from the outside, like me, doing research of some kind, a student, Best thought, or maybe a journalist. Said Marion had stayed. I said, how long? She said, oh, she's still here. I said, I'd like to talk to her. Bess smiled. She says, you will. I have been trying to find a through line on that. The most obvious reading is that Marion is still in the community. Maybe she married in. Maybe she never left. Maybe, or it wouldn't be the weirdest thing. People disappear in the rural community sometimes. Sometimes that's a choice. Sometimes it's not. The health record I based this trip on was filed by a nurse from the county. She noted Marion's presence, did a routine checkup, filed the record. If Marion was a local who chose to stay, this county wouldn't have any further records on file. That's a clear explanation. He says, I keep meaning to call my editor. I haven't called her. I'll call her tomorrow. The recording cuts off. Recording 4, day 9. You can tell by hearing his frame of voice and his behavior that something has shifted. He is still articulated. He is still confident. Kinda. But his professional frame has sort of loosened a little bit. More relaxed, different. Something off about his demeanor. Day 9. I've been thinking about the creek. At a particular spot about a quarter mile is where it widens into something almost like a pool. And the light in the late afternoon, the way it comes through the canopy there. I've been going back every day. I know that's not a work entry. I talked to Roy again about Marion. He was patient with the question, the way he's patient with everything he says. He says, Roy said she graduated. I said, what does that mean? He said, it means she found what she came looking for and she didn't need to carry it anymore. I said, is she buried here? He looked at me for a moment. He said, Marcus, why would she be buried? I don't know what to do with that answer. I've been turning it over. He wasn't being evasive. Roy is the least evasive person I've met. He was answering the question he thought I was actually asking. The question I was actually asking. The food here, I know. I said I wasn't going to go on about it, but I want to document it properly because I think there's something genuinely interesting from it. There's something in the preparation. Some of it I can't identify. Wild ramps, forage greens. The honey had to be local. The bread that is made here. The meat, that is, Roy said, they don't bring anything in that they can grow or raise themselves. They haven't for a long time. I asked how long. He said long enough. He goes on to say, I will call my editor tomorrow. I keep saying that. Recording cuts off. By this time, I'm starting to become a little concerned about Marcus. It's not the first time. I mean, as I was listening to his transcript and his tape and writing this stuff down, I was taking it all in. Sometimes I would listen to each recording over and over again. Something felt like I was supposed to, or something told me that I should, and I would continue to do so. Something felt off about it, the way there was a sudden shift through each recording as it went down the track. And you can kind of tell that with somebody. Now, day 16, his voice has changed, not diminished. It's warmer. As if something that was held tight has simply been let go. This is probably one of the most coolest things and maybe one of the most scariest things that I've had to process. Some things we don't want to let go. Some things we can't let go. Some things are important to us. And if there's a place that makes us let go of things, that makes us want to stay, then we probably shouldn't go there. He goes on to say, I've stopped thinking of this as a cold case. I mean, that is a methodical note, not a personal statement. The case was never cold. Technically, because it was never a case. Marion is, from everything I can piece together, fine. More than fine, she made a choice. I want to understand that choice better before I decide what the episode is, if there is an episode. My editor is going to be annoyed with me. He laughs. I walked the perimeter of the holler today, just to get a sense of the geography. It's the boundaries are natural. The creek is on the east, the ridge is on the north and west. And then to the south, the land is kind of open. It's a meadow. You can walk out. There's no fence. I stood at the south edge for a while. I wasn't thinking about leaving. I was just thinking about the shape of the place. I turned around and came back. Roy was on the porch. He nodded and said, "Good walk?" And I said, "Yeah." It was a good walk. The recording cuts off. You notice he's starting to ask less and less questions about the reason he's there. He seemed to be getting used to the magic some of this place holds over you. Recording 6. He's whispering now. The recorder is very close to his mouth. The room is silent. Someone knocked on my door. A woman. I haven't seen her before. She is not from the holler. She said that first. She said, "I'm not from here. I'm from Independence," which is the nearest actual town, about 12 miles out. And that's true. Right up the road is a place called Independence. And right beyond that is White Top, where wild ponies roam the mountains. The woman says, "Please keep your voice down." Marcus goes on to say, sorry. She says she's been watching the holler. She says, "I'm going to let her speak." The woman goes on to say, "Your van is still here." He said, "Yeah." He said, "After 3 weeks, your van is still here, and you haven't called anyone. I've been watching." Marcus goes on and says, "I've been working on them." The woman cuts him off. Still barely a whisper. The last one was a woman. She had a car too. A little blue car. It's still there. Past the creek. Under some brush. I can show you where it is. Marcus goes on and says, "What's her name?" The woman says, "I don't know her name. She came in August. I think I started noticing the car in September. It was there all winter. I found one other before that, different car, been there longer. You can barely see it now." She goes on and says, "You need to leave tonight. Take your van. Don't wait for morning. Don't eat anything. Don't say goodbye. Just go." Marcus says, almost apologetic, "I appreciate you coming here. I can see this matters to you. But I think there's a story here. You might not have the full picture on. These people they're good people." The woman, her voice drops lower, something raw underneath it. She says, "My mother came here in 1987. Her name was Marion. Please get your van tonight. Don't eat breakfast." She runs out, the sound of the window. She leaves the way she came in. Marcus sits there. The recorder runs. The ambient silence of the room. There's a distant creak. And then the recording cuts off. Recording 7. Day 22. He's been there 22 days. 22 days in a holler in Cowler County. Morning. Beautiful one. The fog off the ridge. Roy's already got something going on the stove. I can smell it up from here. Whatever that bread is, have to get the. I have to ask him about the recipe before I go. Whenever I go, he laughs softly. Had a strange dream last night, or someone came to the door. I can't quite. Anyway, his voice settles into something quiet and content, speaking to himself, not the recorder, not to the future audience. Good morning, Dre's holler. Footsteps, the sound of a door opening, bird songs creak, wind through the trees, door closes. The recording runs for another 30 seconds. Just the room, just silence. And then the click of the recorder running out. And that is the very last tape that this podcaster ever made. He is still missing. And the moral of the story is don't go to weird places, I guess. I know I probably live a few miles from that place, and I'm not going there. Like I said, there's some weird stuff that happens in this place. Like I said, this is I don't know if you followed along. Like we have one holler over here. It's full of junk cars. It's basically considered a junkyard holler or whatever, and people go over there and get parts and stuff. But there's some weird folks. There's another holler. Old cars, like really old cars. You get to, we're talking like Model Ts and like all the way back Chryslers and things like that. This place eats at you. It takes a lot from you, and after living here for a long time, like I said, I was born here, but after living here for a while, you notice this place is kind of like pulls in a lot of people. Yeah, don't overstay your welcome. I mean, that's another good thing to learn. But I don't know. Marcus, there's. I mean, as far as I know, there's still an active missing persons thing for him. I mean, you don't hear about this stuff. You don't hear about any of this stuff. Like, I mean, that's the kind of story that I think I would have heard on like, um, Unsolved Mysteries or something. Like you have a podcaster that went out. He went to some backwoods country holler, and he was, investigating a story or whatever, and he looked in there, and you know, they found some tapes, and dude's been missing, and everything else, and oh, I know. I still try to analyze these stories. Like I said, they're in the book. I know that this happened, like to this guy. As far as I know, that's what happened to that woman that I read about earlier. Um, and like I said, you grow up around these places, and like there's just so much weird stuff that goes on. Like there's a place up here that you can go to, and like the city did something, and they moved the cemeteries up to this one place. And this was the earlier, like before I was alive when they did this, but there's stories about it. Now the city won't talk about it. And apparently, then the school used it or something for a while. I don't know, but you apparently could go up there and you could hear sounds coming from the ground. Um, you had that one guy talking about Stephen King books earlier. Um, you remember the graveyard shift? I mean, that is literally like what was going on in underground there. There was like they had all these bodies down there, and then we had all these rats and stuff that was in there eating the bodies and making tunnels and stuff like that. Like there was a huge rat problem down the river here. Um, mm-mm. No, nobody talks about that shit though. No one talks about that weird stuff. And like when that was going on, we like the rats, and we heard the stories, and we talked about it. Yeah, I don't know. We have a really good um what's the word I'm looking for? We deal with the media kind of good here, I guess you would say. Not to mention our newspaper's been balled out now, so you don't see shit in there anymore. And that like this is also the most unhinged place. Like my town, for example. Now this happened like the holler is outside of my town, and then Independence is up the road from my town. But this town is basically considered a central and economic hub. Um, but it's still not very big. And a lot of weird shit happened here. Like when they come over here, if you ask like the big wigs or whatever why Galax is here, it'll say, "Oh, it was put here for furniture and stuff." That's not true. Um, whoever come through here decided, they had to put this place here, and it was, going to be economic transfer center or whatever, and they built the fucking place in a swamp. Um, and the majority of it was like Indian burial grounds and farms and shit like that. And I don't know. I mean, we got a cemetery right up the road here. Like it has like everything's weird around here when you really pull it off. I mean, there's General Lee's horse. Like when he come through, like his horse died in Galax, and he's buried up there, and he's got like this big monument, and it's this fucking horse. And there's a bunch of weird stuff up there. Um, I don't know. There's a lot of weird stuff that happens around here. Anyway, yeah. Ever since I found this and messed with this, I have been scared to go to like certain places around me. Like I had a buddy that was really he moved here from Maryland, and they bought some land out there, and they fell in love with the place and do what a lot of people do, and well, they're like a lot of people. They come here, they get close to this place, and they just stay, and they'll do anything to stay. That's what's weird too. You can watch people. Um, the one of the guys, the metal detector guy that is on Oak Island, him and his wife come out here, and they're buying a place out here. I mean, this place is like some fucked up magnet. I don't know. It draws people in, and it just I don't know. There's some weird shit here, and the other thing too is some of these hollers, like the older hollers, maybe parts of the families have died out, and some of these had like some of the Appalachian witches and shit in there, and so these places are like that. Maybe they died out. So the city took it over and they're selling them or whatever. So you have a city that is selling these places to people from not from here that don't know much about it, and it is I don't know. We also have a lot of government stuff too, and that's weird. Um, Now our last story of the night, and I think I'm gonna go take another cigarette break. Um, it actually has to do with FEMA, and I'll give some ground text for it. Back in the 50s and 60s, part of the 80s, I guess you would say, FEMA tried to set up or still has, a communication network. It comes through here, comes through the Appalachian. They built bunkers every so often, and they would run test drills. And back then, the military wasn't working that well with FEMA, of course, but they kind of did. And there was like other bunkers too, like AT&T bunkers and stuff like that. They would run a lot of test drills, and you know, if you were part of FEMA or you were part of some other group, you would land this good job, and you would be you would work at the monitoring station. You would have to be there for like on a month, off a month, or something like that, and you would live underground in this place and just kind of like standby radio. Um, well, anyway, they would run tests all the time, and they wouldn't tell the operators they were running tests, um, and until they got like an all clear at some point. Um, but the things that went on with this woman in this bunker, when we found the bunker, the door was blown off. Um, there was some of her notes and a few other things, and we don't know exactly what all transpired to at this FEMA bunker. Um, and I don't think anybody does. But from what I can make out of it, it looks like they were running a test of some kind. The way she wrote the stuff down and the way she talked about this. Now, I never met this person in person. Just found her work in a place that where something bad happened, and apparently this woman thought something bad had happened to the rest of us, and the reason she had locked herself down there. But anyway, I'm gonna go smoke and then come back. I gotta use the bathroom too. I've drinking about a gallon of liquid today. If you're wondering, I can't help it. I also got to check. A lot of people don't know this about this part of Virginia, but we have bobcats, panthers, and bobcats, panthers, and coyotes. And we tend to go outside all the time on our porch. And like I said, we live up here. We live on top of the holler. I don't want to live down the bottom. That's where they flood and shit like that. But we live on top of holler. And you can literally lay a map down and you can see the way the animals like transverse through here. And they come up beside my home. This is a kind of a safe zone for them. I mean, no one hunts them, so no one kind of bothers them, and they kind of don't act up. But sometimes they do. We get bears sometimes. We get bears. Like I said, there's panthers that run through the woods. There's, panthers. Bobcat, coyotes. I've seen a hog, like a wild boar. That was somebody's pet at some point. That's another thing. Like I said that on stream a while back. You know, if you buy your kid like a miniature pig, it's probably not a miniature pig. No, no. Like panther, black panther. It sounds like a woman screaming. Yeah, we have panthers up here. We have cougars that come down, but they're up on the mountain. They're up with the rattlesnakes. That's more toward Independence or mountain lions or whatever you want to call them. I mean, they're out there. They're fucking big ass cats. And sometimes you trip up and you'll find a baby. Like I said, I got a pet vulture out here now. It got hurt, and I was like, fuck, I ain't gonna kill it. I'm not gonna call anybody on it, so you know, I just kind of feed it and call it Bob. You know, but no, I went out there to do a smoke, and I heard a growl, and I know it couldn't be one of the kittens. The kittens are out there playing. And that's one thing that, like that's one thing a cougar would do too. A cougar, a panther, a bobcat, more likely a bobcat, will see like a kitten playing, and they'll run over and grab it and take off with it and eat it. Unless some of the bigger cats are around. Now, the bigger cats of mine are more like they're about the size of bobcats. You know, yeah, cougars are fucked up, man. They are. Now, let me see if I can make this bigger. Now, the woman in question is a woman named Diana Reeves. She is in her late 30s, as far as I can tell. She is a FEMA communications technician. And I want you guys to. I know you like the ones that are not like with FEMA, but you know, if you know ham radio operators, that's basically what they are, the equivalents. A FEMA communications technician is somebody that runs like a ham radio studio or whatever. I have a bunch of equipment here. I listen, monitor, and talk. I've had, like I said, I've had a lot of hobbies throughout the years, and one of the cool things about like radio and communication and stuff like that, ham radios, is you get a raw feed of the world. I mean, you can listen to anywhere in the world. You can listen to, you know, anybody talk, anybody, you know, you can some places in the world use like regular radio stations and things. We used to get into the number stations quite a bit. There, move, cat. But yeah. Now something happened. I'm not sure what, but something happened. She goes on to say, day 7, 6 days of nothing, then a voice. I want to be careful about how I describe what that feels like, because I am a technician. I'm writing this in a log the way I would write anything in that log, which is accurately. The accurate description is, this is her job. Her job was to sit in this bunker for however long she was supposed to sit in there, and then she would get time off, and then she would have to go back again. Literally the job. They got food down there. They got central heat and air. Just sit in a bunker. Can't leave. You can't be on the internet. You can't know what's going on outside of your of the bunker, other than what comes in on the actual communication network that you have set up in there. So I mean, you can't have phones. You can't have a computer other than what they had down there, and you can't have the radio. And these are the only people you can talk to. This is part of the communication network. This is what you're going to experience if some kind of shit happens in the world, and you're the only backbone for whatever. Now, do we still have these things? I don't know. I know we do have, like, of course, ham radio and stuff like that in operations, and vice versa, but it's not as common anymore as it is, and I've not heard any of these people in a long time. But she goes on to say, after 7 days, it was the best moment of her life. And she says, I want you to understand the context before I tell you everything else. And she says she's going to start from the beginning. Her name is Diana Reyes. I am, or was, a communications relay technician for FEMA Region 3. This is Region 3. Assigned to a hardened relay station in the Blue Ridge Corridor. My job was to maintain communication infrastructure for an emergency response. The station was underground, reinforced, had its own power, its own water reclamation, and its own air filtration. When whatever happened, I was running a routine diagnosis. I can't talk. She was running routine, what she's supposed to do every time. She says, I did not see it. I did not feel it. I was 40 feet underground when every frequency I was monitoring was silent. Global silence across all bands at 11:47 a.m. on what I will call day 0, because I have stopped using calendar dates. It means nothing now. You have to understand that the people, when they were running tests and drills and stuff like that, the people that were in the bunkers did not know if they were tests. This is the same way with, like, the people who launch our nuclear weapons. They're in a bunker for a month. They're down there, and they don't have access to this stuff. They have been caught with phones and stuff, but I think they loosened the rules on it, but the rules used to be hardcore. But they're not allowed to have access to the outside world because it could mess with whatever they think. And so the only information they have is what's coming in from their monitors and computers. So she really didn't know. She didn't know that all of us was fine. She thought all of us had, like, died, I guess. She says, I stayed at my station for the first 24 hours. Protocol. On day 1, I began broadcasting on available frequencies. A standard distress format. Station ID, location, general location. I did not give precise coordinates. This is also protocol. Power status, personal count, request for response. I did this every 4 hours. Day 1 through 6, no response. I kept a log. I ate. I slept in 4-hour cycles. I ran system checks. I stayed at my station. I'm a technician, and this is what technicians do. They maintain the station. Day 7, 6 o'clock, transmission. I will broadcast. I waited. At 6:12, a voice came back. Keep in mind, this is the only voice she heard in 7 days. His name was Paul. He said it like a statement, not an introduction. Just Paul, one word. I appreciated that. I said, Diana, one word. He had power. He had food. He was something in the interior. He said Midwest. He didn't specify further, which I noted, and I did not press, because I had also said East, and I was not specific. Standard protocol for initiating contact with an unknown party. We established a schedule. I called it First Light Protocol in my log. He said he liked that. He said, yeah, First Light Protocol. In an early transmission, we did a triage. What do we know? What did we observe? Who else had we heard? Neither of us had heard anyone else. We started building a picture, his observations. Now, he claimed to have gone out on the surface. Diana could not go out on the surface. Not yet. Contamination protocols required a minimum of 70 days before she gets all clear sensors, indicating safe levels. And her monitoring data was extensive. She had sensors, she had equipment, and she had a very large antenna array. Now, whatever data she was being fed down there in that bunker when this went on was indicating that something had happened up here to all of us, and that she was the only one left. And then she met this guy. This was protocol. Now, if the government must have been running a test. The government had to have been running a test. They had been running some kind of exercise from outside to see how she would respond in this situation. I mean, I read this thinking that she was going to get all clear, and that is not the case. Anyway, you kind of wonder how, as you're going through this and later on, you kind of wonder, does the government forget about some of these bunkers? The people in them? I don't know. Paul had eyes. I didn't. He was good at this. Patient, systematic. He asked good questions. He thought in terms of data points, not impressions. He reminded me in his thinking style of people I had trained with. Methodical, not prone to panic, oriented toward the problem. I trusted that. I want to be specific about that. I trusted the thinking style. I should have been more careful about what I trusted it with, though. Now, I'm going to read from the transcripts. She had kept complete written transcripts of every transmission with Paul and the one she made. And I'll read the relevant passages in sequence. Day 7, Paul's first transmission. Paul, reading you clearly, I have power generator, significant fuel reserves, food for approximately 60 days, if I'm conservative. I've been on the surface. I'll describe the surface another time. Right now, I want to know who I'm talking to. Day 8, what's your power situation? You said you have your own generator. Is it solar, diesel, nuclear? I'm asking because I want to know how long we can maintain the schedule. Day 9, 60 days of food is a planned horizon, not a comfort. After 60 days, I need either to find more or move. I've been thinking about the movement. Have you thought about movement? Day 10, He says, I want to map what's in between us, not to make any decisions, just to understand the geography. You said east of Appalachia. Day 11. I found another cache today. I found another few weeks of food horizon, which changes my calculus somewhat. Less urgent about moving. More time to be careful with. You said you're near a water source, a river, or reservoir? Day 12. I've been thinking about your station, hardened facility, underground, its own systems. That's significant. That's the kind of place that becomes a hub. You're not just surviving, Diana. You're infrastructure. Whoever controls communication infrastructure in the next phase controls everything. Day 13. Humor me for a second. If someone wanted to reach you on foot by road, what's the closest landmark to your position? Just for emergency planning. Day 14. I found a road atlas. Old one. The roads don't change. I've been looking at the Blue Ridge Corridor. Interesting geography. Lots of hardened infrastructure along that spine. Military, governments. I've been thinking about the relay stations. Some of them I know were occupied during the drills. Yours isn't the only one. Which one are you? He says. I want to tell you what I said to that question on day 14. I said I wasn't going to specify my exact station. Paul said he understood. He said he wasn't trying to pry, just thinking about larger infrastructure picture. I said, of course. I said it makes sense. I moved on. Day 19. I'm not going to read the transcript for day 15 through 18. I'm going to summarize them, because they were long. In those 4 days, Paul and her had what they described as 4 of their best conversations of life. They talked about the situation, obviously, and about other things. They were lonely. What we thought had happened, what they thought would come next, the kind of world we thought it's possible to build in. Keep in mind, she thought something bad had happened up here. Paul seemed to think that way too, but we know he had to have known otherwise, which was strange. On day 17, I told him about my brother. Paul told me about a dog he had. And I want to be honest, I thought, here's someone who might be a reason to still be here. This is the context for day 19. And she's reading her own transmission. Paul, I've been looking over our transcripts. You've asked me across 19 days the following questions about my location: water source types, proximity to state roads, visibility from air, or my antenna array is concealed or exposed, whether my facility had independent ventilation, distance to the nearest town, vehicle access, specifically whether a larger vehicle than a standard truck could reach her position. You have never told me anything equivalent about your own position. I asked you directly on days 8, 11, and 14. You redirected each time. When I gave you information, I gave you a significant amount of information. You acknowledged it and moved on. You never offered comparable information in return. I built a picture for you, Paul, a very detailed picture of exactly where I am and exactly what I have. And I've been thinking about why someone needs that picture. She keyed the radio. I said, Paul, I have figured it out. The response came back in less than a minute. He said, I know. I was wondering when you would. There are things that she wanted to say right now. There were questions she wanted answers to and statements I want to make. I'm not choosing to make them because I don't know the range of his radio. I do not know when he left or began driving, and don't know how far he had come. What I know is this: 40 feet of reinforced concrete, my own power, my own water, my own air. I can lock the surface hatch from down here. I can lock it. I'm a technician. I maintain the station. I am going to maintain the station. Now, she goes on. She jots down. She says that she can hear someone, something far away doing something they shouldn't be doing to her bunker. She hears the sound of a vehicle starting, turning off. It runs, there's silence. Now, when I found this, we found this in a bunker. We found the notes and the transcripts and stuff in a bunker. We knew this was a FEMA place. We knew this was one of theirs. I mean, the radio things are up top. Over the years, there are auctions that go up, and they have the antenna scrapped. And you can pick this one out if you were to go and search old government auction sites. And this is one of them. This is a big telescope. I mean, like 2 big telescopes that were sitting up there and everything. And this is where the transcripts come from. And we really, me personally, I have no idea why. I'm sure somebody knows. I'm sure somebody knows that what happened to her, and did this guy break in, and all this other stuff, and why did she think that the world had ended, and why was there this guy coming after her, and like it's weird enough to have a whole bucket full of questions that I don't understand. I mean, and anyone else that I've spoken with doesn't understand either. Anyone who has seen the transcripts or heard the tapes or heard anything that I've spoken about tonight or has seen the stuff that I've seen when it comes to this cannot give me definitive answers. All I know is that these people are missing, and these are the last things that I could find in relation to them, their last days. I have a bunch of this stuff too. I don't know. Anyway, maybe we'll get through it all one day. But this is the last story for the night. I know we were all over the place and talking about all kind of stuff, and I've been getting up and down and everything else, but I do thank you guys for being here tonight. I do. I will be here tomorrow night. Hopefully in better spirits and feeling better. I'm slowly getting better. My family is we're like teeter-totting on sick right now. Old lady's been sick for like 5 days. Like, she got some crazy stuff like I was talking about the other night. I've just kind of like been in a slump. Yeah, he definitely triangulated her signal, or at least figured it out by the questions. But I mean, that's one aspect of it. Why was he doing that? And 2, why did she think that the world had ended up here? Like, like I said, this is found in a bunker, 40 feet down below. The transcripts and everything. And the radio equipment and everything else, and the door to the bunker was blown off, and and it was up for government surplus. And they're supposed to clear this stuff. We're not supposed to find this kind of stuff in those bunkers. So I don't know. I mean, the equipment was down there. The radio equipment was down there. I think I have some of the older radio equipment. I mean, it's no good. I mean, there's this thing they do occasionally called Mars, where it's military amateur radio. Yeah, military amateur radio. And you coordinate with military and FEMA and stuff like that for emergency type situations. I don't know. It is what it is. I guess the moral of this story is, if you're think something's going on and you're hiding in your home or your bunker or whatever, and you're talking to somebody on the radio, don't give out your location. Make sure you don't, no matter how hard somebody tricks you, because you never know. Speaking of that, I did when I first, no, not first started, like mid range there. I wanted to do like a big Paranoid Times radio network. I wanted to talk to everybody on that way in case something did happen. But I don't know. I think it'd be too hard for everybody to do now. I don't know. We'll see. Anyway, guys, tonight's a wrap. Thank you for being here, and I will talk to you tomorrow.